All right, this is Brian J signing on, and here to announce that Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm are going to be fighting each other for the women's bantamweight title at 135 pounds in July at UFC 239, and they're going to be the co-main event for John Jones fighting. Let's see who they said. John Jones versus Thiago Santos, which I think is a pretty good fight on paper. John Jones versus Thiago Santos. That should be a good fight, but John Jones, he's a great fighter, but he's taking performance enhancing drugs, and for whatever reason, VADA's letting him get away with taking the same performance enhancing drug that he's been taking. So John Jones is not just going to have his great skill set, he's going to have an advantage in this fight against Thiago Santos. So that I expect John Jones to win that fight. But the interesting fight is Amanda Nunes versus Holly Holm. I expect Amanda Nunes to win this fight, but I think Amanda Nunes is going to be, striking on the feet, like she could probably counter Holly Holm because Holly has a very predictable kickboxing combination that she uses a lot, and you could time it just right because you know when she's going to throw something because she makes noises when she throws anything. When she makes noises, so she could probably predict what she's going to do before she does it. But Holly Holm has really good footwork. She has good footwork. She has a good defense. She's going to use a lot of lateral movement in this fight and going to counter and try to take her time and pot shot. She's going to be pot shotting with her strikes. And that might frustrate Amanda Nunes on the feet. And I think Amanda Nunes could just take Holly Holm to the ground and try to submit her or win by ground and pound. I'm not too sure, but if Amanda Nunes beats Holly Holm, then this would be the sixth UFC champion that Amanda Nunes has beaten. She beat Miesha Tate, who was a UFC champion. She beat Ronda Rousey. Valentina Shevchenko is a champion now. She beat Jermaine Durandamy. That's 4. And she beat Chris Cyborg. That's 5. So that's 5 UFC champions that Amanda Nunes has beaten. So her resume and her records are on par with the men right now in men's MMA, at least in the UFC. Because Fedor, who's considered the greatest heavyweight of all time, has beaten 11 UFC champions, about 10 or 11 UFC champions. And Amanda Nunes has beaten 5. And so if she beats Holly Holm convincingly, that would be 6. So Amanda Nunes, if she beats Holly Holm, she'll have beaten 6 UFC champions, and that is really great. Regardless of what you think about some of her opponents, because Miesha Tate's not really that great, and Ronda Rousey had terrible stand-up, and Holly Holm's striking isn't that great either. Still, these women were champions. Undisputed champions, because there's only one belt in the UFC. There's not, 4 or 5 sanctioning bodies like in boxing. In with the UFC, there's just one belt, one champion, one face for you to beat. So, Amanda Nunes, I expect Amanda Nunes to win this fight. But so far, the main event, the co-main event for July are pretty good. This is going to be a good card. But you know how July is. July is cursed, man. July cards are cursed. The International Fight Week, the last 3 International Fight Weeks have had cancel cards, or something happens with the co-main event. So I hope John Jones and Thiago Santos show up, and Amanda Nunes, Holly Holm. But I don't know about anything else, and you never know with the co-main. Amanda Nunes might have a bad weight cut because it's been a while since she fought at 135. She might have a bad weight cut. You never know with John Jones. He could test positive and could get canceled if the drug he's taking is on a certain level that VADA doesn't like or something. I don't know. Maybe Thiago Santos tests positive, or one of these guys get injured. I don't know. Anything could happen. But if all goes well, this should be a good co-main and main event. It should be a good card. So these are my thoughts on the fight. Amanda Nunes fighting Holly Holm, and you have the John Jones fight happening. And this is Brian J signing off for now.